Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
An hour with Jim and Marion Jordan as we go back to see what's happening in Wistful Vista with Fibber McGee and Molly. We're going to start off on November 10th, or November 20th, I should say, 1945, as Fibber gives expert advice to the workmen building a house across the street. Fibber, the architect.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax products for home and industry present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. What the harp was to the minstrel, what the lute was to Orpheus, what the piano was to Beethoven. That's what the sound of carpenters at work is to a guy who loves to tinker and putter. So when somebody started to build a new house next door to 79 Wistful Vista, guess who is itching to get over there and kibitz? Yeah, himself, Fibber McGee and Molly.
Look at that. Look at the way that mug handles a hammer. He's hit himself on the knuckles so many times his left hand looks like 5 sausages stuck on a ham.
Come away from the window, dearie. It's none of our business anyhow. Nobody ever got rich being nosy, except maybe Jimmy Durante.
It is, too, our business. We can't have a bunch of comedy carpenters lowering property values in this neighborhood. Why, if they go on like they're doing, that joint's going to look like a Swiss railroad station.
Look, sweetheart, I don't imagine those workmen are ad-libbing. They're probably following the architect's plans.
Well, they're reading them backwards or something. Look at how them timbers are cross-braced. That house is going to collapse the first time they play a Spike Jones record on the phonograph.
Well, what house wouldn't?
I'm going over there and talk to them guys. That's what I'm going over there and do.
Oh, now, McGee, for goodness sake.
As a property owner in this neighborhood, I got a right to know
Hello, Mrs. McGee, Mr. McGee.
Oh, hello, Alice, dear.
Hi, Alice. You see what's being built next door? You realize we're going to be next-door neighbors to a combination grain elevator and Chinese palooka?
Oh, I think you mean a pagoda, Mr. McGee.
I don't mean any such a thing. I know what a pagoda is. A pagoda is a town in California where they grow navel oranges, if you'll pardon the expression.
No, darling, that's Pomona.
Who's kidding who? A pomona is a Japanese bathrobe with no belt. Everybody knows that.
Oh, you're a little confused, Mr. McGee. You're thinking of a kimono.
Oh, I am I?
Yes, you am, or I mean are.
I thought a kimono was an Irish folk song.
That's a kamayi.
I don't know what chance one guy has against 2 women. Then what's a palooka in the first place?
A palooka is a chump.
Certainly. Do you think anybody but a chump would build a house that looks like a Mongolian bandstand?
But, Mr. McGee, I know the man who was building that place, and he showed me the architect's drawings. It's going to be a very good-looking Southern colonial house.
Oh, I love colonial houses. They always look so colonial.
Yeah, an old colonial house, eh? A Southern mansion.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder it looks so cheap. He's building it with Confederate money.
Did he say it was going to be a Southern colonial house, Alice?
No, but I could tell. He's made plans for a mint bed out and back.
Well, don't jump to conclusions, Alice. We got a bird bath out and back, too, but I don't go around washing blue jays either.
Who's the man that's building the house, Alice?
Well, he's a gentleman that I think his name is Vandercook or Beecher or Eldridge or something.
What's it start with?
Well, it all started with a party. A fellow I know that I used to work at the airplane plant who was getting married to a cousin of mine, and this man was invited to it, Gabe.
If his house isn't constructed any better than that sentence, Alice, McGee has a justifiable complaint.
What does this guy do for a living, Alice?
He's retired, I think, Mr. McGee.
Oh.
But he said he used to have a stock on the seed exchange.
A seat on the stock exchange, Alice.
Oh, no, he was a theater ticket broker.
Oh.
What does he look like, Alice? What kind of a Jasper is he?
Oh, he's cute, Mr. McGee. You're going to like him terribly.
I like him that way now.
And I told him all about you folks and that you'd be next-door neighbors and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Well, good for you, Alice. And what did he say to that?
Oh, his eyes kind of flashed, and he ground his teeth a little and said, well, I've got too much invested in that property to stop now. Gee, I've got to get downtown. Goodbye.
An old colonial mansion, is it? Just an upstart. Why, the way we'll snub that guy is going to be...
McGee?
Huh?
Didn't Alice say he was putting in a mint bed in his backyard?
Yes, and of all the... mint bed, eh? You know, the man may have a few decent instincts at that. Remind me to drop in on him the first hot summer night next summer and give him the old fraternity grip. After all, he might... Oh, my gosh. Will you look at him now?
Look at whom doing what?
Those carpenters. Look at that guy with the ripsaw. Why don't he get his back into it? He acts like he was cutting fruitcake or something. Where's my hat? I'm going over there.
Wait a minute, McGee. Don't do that. You'll be just in the way.
I'll show them pagodas how to carpenter. I'll show
Wait
them.
for me, dearie. I'll go with you.
I'm going over there.
McGee, wait for baby.
Oh, we're just getting started with Fibber McGee and Molly, an episode from November 20th, 1945, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite station. Jim and Marion Jordan had, a 20-year run on NBC, only on NBC, beginning back on the old Blue Network, then moving to the Red Network, and then having their biggest success with Johnson's Wax into the 50s, and then Pet Milk and Reynolds Aluminum, and then a quarter-hour show for the last few years. And then even beyond that, they continued on NBC's Monitor every weekend with short sketches. So, yeah, it was nice that they lasted all the way into the late 50s with the show. And the sad ending of Marion Jordan passing away from cancer. That was very, very sad. Okay, let's get the sad stuff out of the way and get back to Fibber McGee and Molly. This episode, November 20th, 1949, McGee the Architect.
Are you sure we won't be in the way of the carpenters, dearie?
Tootsie, when these splinter fingers hear the valuable suggestions I'm going to offer, we'll be as welcome as fresh air in a nightclub.
Yeah, but maybe
Now just park your little tweed skirt on a keg of nails and watch old Frank Lloyd Wright McGee. I'll show these lumberjerks how to save a nickel on every 10-penny nail. Hey, Bud. You the foreman here?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Where's your blueprints?
Where's my what?
Blueprints. You building this house from a dream book?
Oh, the blueprints. Here they are, right here, sir.
Oh, thanks.
May I ask, are you building this place to live in or as an investment?
My gosh, I'm not building it at all, Bud.
No, you are.
Yes, I guess that's right. Well, it's going to be a very handsome house anyway. Very well planned. You're going to like it.
I hope so. We're going to be seeing a lot of it.
There's a few things I ain't satisfied with, though, Bud. Now, let me see. What kind of heat you got scheduled?
Oil.
Forget it. Put in a coal furnace. With oil heat, how are you going to get ashes to sprinkle on the sidewalk when it gets icy?
Why don't you build some hot pipes under the sidewalk to melt the ice?
Great, Molly, great. Do that, Bud.
Well, yeah, but the architect says...
Oh, never mind what the architect says. Bunch of impractical dreamers. They spend 6 years in Italy studying Greek architecture so they can come home and build Spanish bungalows with French windows for a lot of Yankees who don't know an English basement from a Turkish bath. Put in coal.
Okay, sir. Anything you say.
Now, a few more things and you can get to work, Si. Now, double the size of the garage, for one thing. Make a storeroom out of it. Make the attic a playroom. Make all the closets larger. Cedar lining in all of them. And move that front porch around to the west side.
What's that for, Pet?
The boy that delivers the evening paper's left-handed. Besides, the driveway's on that side. Okay, Bud, get busy now. I'll have some other suggestions for you a little later.
Yes, sir. Hey, boys, forget what you're doing. We got some changes to make. Now, look, tear out the siding on the...
Do you realize, I suppose, McGee, that he thinks you're the owner of the house?
It's a good thing I'm not. If I was the owner and a guy like me came messing around, I'd throw me out of here so fast on my foot.
Hello, Molly. Hello, Standing Bull.
Oh, hello, Dr. Gamble.
Hi, body snatcher. What brings you out in broad daylight amongst honest men and decent women?
I admit that Molly is a decent woman, but if you're referring to yourself as an honest man, Titmouse, you are the worst judge of character I ever knew, and I've never met a good one, except myself.
Are you really a good judge of character, Doctor?
Oh, sure he is. He can take one gander at a man and tell whether he's got $5 and a tummy ache or $300 and appendicitis.
Ignoring the slanderous remarks of the man you so unfortunately married, my dear, I might say that I'm practically a genius at analyzing character. The minute I meet a man who gives me that firm blacksmith handshake and looks me straight in the eye, I know I'm in the presence of a wife-beater, a dog-kicker, and a waiter-baiter.
Well, not me, Doctor. I'm no judge of people. I like everybody immediately.
Yeah, she even likes you, Doc. And if that ain't an outstanding case of bad judgment, are you going bowling tonight?
No, my boy. That's what I stopped by to tell you.
Oh.
I'm expecting one of my patients to make the next census richer by one small item.
Oh, I see.
But tell me, why are you hanging around this building project? Waiting your chance to steal some lumber?
No, he's just offering some suggestions about the new house, Doctor. And he has some dandies, too.
I'll say. My idea for a little platform on the roof so they could go up there and watch for the mailman was a nifty, if I do say so myself.
It was indeed. The owner can also go up there with a high-powered rifle and drill you right between the eyes. And as close together as your eyes are, that's pretty fancy shooting.
Well, I'm sorry you can't go out with McGee tonight, Doctor. I was hoping you'd come to dinner.
Yeah. Going to have a nice rump roast, Doc.
Well, it's just as well, friends. Can't eat rump roast for sentimental reasons.
Sentimental reasons, huh?
Yes, I had a cousin who died of one at Sing Sing. Well, hasta la vista, amigos.
Isn't he a sweet old character, though?
Yeah. Hey, fellas.
Yeah?
I just had a good idea. Have Willie West and McGinty there put a little balcony outside the master's bedroom so he can stand there over the swimming pool and practice fly casting.
I didn't know the plans called for a swimming pool, dearie.
They don't. And add a swimming pool, Bud. 44 by 20.
We haven't got room for a pool that big.
Well, then make it 10 feet shorter and 10 feet deeper.
Okay.
Did you see the funny look he gave you, McGee?
These guys aren't used to a man who can make snappy decisions. Most people fuss around for 10 days about where to build the ironing board. They think that they...
McGee?
Huh?
Say, look at that man sawing over there. Why, he isn't half trying.
And what's more, he's using a cross-cut saw when he ought to be using a rip saw. Hey, Bud, come here a minute.
Yes, sir. Something you wanted?
Well, heavenly days, Mr. Wilcox.
What are you doing here working as a carpenter, Junior? asked fun-loving little Fibber, dancing up and down with excitement.
Oh, I do this every once in a while, pal. I love to work with wood. I like the feel of it, the smell of it.
Do you really, Mr. Wilcox?
Yes, really. I guess it runs in the family. My uncle, Big Paul Bunyan Wilcox, was the same way. Just loved wood. He'd eat 6 meals a day just for an excuse to chew on a toothpick. Sometimes I think that's why I'm in the business I'm in.
You mean?
Yes, selling Johnson's wax.
Oh, you got us, Waxy. You got it. I could see it coming, but I didn't know from what direction.
Yes, when I think how Johnson's wax brings out the beauty of wood surfaces, how it seals the pores of wood against dust and dampness and dirt, and gives it such a gleaming sanitary freshness, well, it just makes me feel good all over.
You sound like you might be a descendant of that great nobleman, Sir Cassian Walnut.
Just as a matter of curiosity, Waxy, why were you using a cross-cut saw over there? Sawing with the grain, you ought to use a rip saw.
Oh, no. A rip saw is so ruthless. It tears the wood. I can't stand that. I like to handle wood gently, tenderly.
Oh, my God.
Heavenly days.
That's why I like to be around new houses like this, to see the wood being fitted into place. The door frames, the floors, the windowsills, the paneling. Getting ready for their first application of Johnson's wax.
Oh, sure.
Sometimes I wish I were a piece of wood.
Oh, sure.
So I could be Johnson Wax and admired by everybody and live so long and reflect a spirit of cleanliness and hospitality. Well, got to get back to work, folks. Nice to have seen you.
Can you imagine that? Sometimes he wishes he was a piece of wood.
Sometimes I wish he was, too. I'd make him into a hardwood floor and take up tap dancing. Ah, well, I guess we all have our little eccentricities. Hey, do you think this house would look good with a big stoop in front?
Who did you have in mind?
I think I'll take these blueprints home, Molly, and work them over. There's several more changes I want to make. Come on, let's go.
All right, dearie, but I hope the owner of this house... Oh, look, McGee, there goes Mrs. Carstairs. Yoo-hoo, Mrs. Carstairs.
Remind me to buy you a moose call for Christmas. She couldn't resist a good, strong honk on that.
Now, be nice, dearie. She's really a fine woman.
She's a pain in the clavicle. She's so doggone refined, she turns her head away when she takes the pants off her lamb chops.
Well, my goodness. She may be a little stuffy, but... hello there, Mrs. Carstairs. So nice to see you.
How do you do, my dear? Good day, Mr. McGee.
Hi, Carsty. I was just telling Molly what a sight you are for sore eyes.
Thank you.
We've been looking over this new house they're building here, Mrs. Carstairs. McGee has a few suggestions and changes to make.
Really? I was not aware, Mr. McGee, that your various talents included a gift for architectural design.
Well, you really don't know me very well, Carsty.
I shall bear it in mind all day Thursday.
Heavenly days. Thursday's Thanksgiving.
Yes, isn't it? By the way, my dear, I had intended to ask you for dinner Thursday evening, but I happened to think that I couldn't ask your husband, as he would make 13 at the table.
Oh, that's okay, Carsty. I ate enough for 2 people, so it'll really be 14. What time will we be there?
Oh, rather late-ish, you know.
Well, just as late-ish as you like, Mrs. Carstairs. Say 7:30-ish?
Yeah. We could even make it 9-ish or 9:45-ish, if necessary.
No, 8 o'clock would be splendid.
Do we dress, Mrs. Carstairs?
What do you mean, do we dress? What kind of a...
Black tie, Mr. McGee.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Carstairs. We'll be there with bells on.
Oh, that will be quite harmonious, my dear. I'm sure that some of my other guests will be rather jingled by dinner time. Well, good day.
Hey, Molly. I've done these blueprints practically all over, and you'd never recognize that house.
Now, look, dearie. Fun is fun, but do you realize how your butting in might strike the owner of that house?
What do you mean, butting in? I've improved that joint 100%. Why, take the powder room, for instance. Who else would have thought of putting in green lights so the guests would think they were getting sick and go home? We won't have to go to Carsty's Thanksgiving, Molly. We're having our turkey now. And who else would have ever had... Come in.
Good day. I'm one of your neighbors.
Yeah, we know, sis. You're the cousin of Punchy McFight, the prize clatcher.
No, he means you're the fighter of Punchy McCousin, the Clatch prize.
No. I meant she was the prize of Cousin McClutchy.
I am the cousin of Punchy McClatchy, the prize fighter.
Certainly.
Well, what about it, sis?
Well, just to be neighborly, I thought you might want to put a wager on the fight tonight. Punchy is fighting Cauliflower Connolly, you know. It's a sure thing.
Well, thank you very much, dearie.
Thanks for the tip, sis. I'll slap a $2 wager on your cousin.
You mean you're betting on Punchy?
Sure.
Oh, you fool, you!
Well, she doesn't seem to have much faith in her own cousin, does she?
Come to think of it, I don't know why she should. That McClatchy has taken more pokes than all the pickpockets on Broadway. That stumblebum has swallowed so many of his own teeth, his stomach chatters on cold days. Why, if he'd only
never mind him, McGee. I'm worried about all those changes you made on that new house next door.
Oh, what are you worried about that for? I improved it, didn't I? My gosh, what kind of a neighbor would I be to stand around and see how...
Oh, dear, every time that doorbell rings, I get a chill. I can just see the man who owns that house laying you out with a 2x4.
Ah, pata, I can handle him. Come in.
Oh, it's Mayor Latrivia. Good day, Your Honor.
Good day, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee.
Hi, Latriv. I'll be with you in just a moment. I got to finish checking over these blueprints.
Isn't he clever, Mr. Mayor?
See now.
Just think of anybody knowing what all those little white lines mean.
I didn't know you could read blueprints, McGee. In fact, I didn't know you could read. I had it on fairly good authority that you had even been blackballed by the Book of the Month Club.
Ah, Mr. Mayor, you rascal, you.
What, Fibber's going to get thumped making all these changes. This just isn't good. And I'm sure the mayor has some stuff to talk about this as well. November 20th, 1945, Fibber McGee and Molly here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Another half hour of Fibber and Molly straight ahead. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, and now the conclusion of Fibber McGee and Molly from November 20th, 1945.
Let me see, if I use the laundry chute as a chimney for the barbecue pit, then I can put the breakfast...
May I ask just what you think you're doing, McGee?
Well, he's making some changes on that new house next door, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
I trust, my friend, that you have acquainted yourself with the building regulations, fire laws, zoning requirements, frontage rules, and all stuff like that. All that sort of thing?
Oh, he doesn't believe in those silly regulations, Your Honor.
Oh, he doesn't.
No, that's for amateurs. I go on the principle of get your building up and then fight the city hall. You probably don't know any more about building regulations than I do.
That is where you are wrong, McGee. I have the entire code in my head.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. Can I run upstairs? Can I go up and get you some nose drops or something?
Nose drops? For what, Mrs. McGee?
For your nose, naturally. Unless you want to use them to oil your roller skates.
I don't know what you're talking about, McGee, but I don't want or need any nose drops. Thank you, just the same.
Well, maybe a nice hot gargle would be better anyway.
Make him take the nose drops, Molly. They're much better than a gargle.
What is this, anyway? I don't want a gargle, and I don't want any nose drops.
Ah, don't be a baby, Your Honor. They don't hurt. My goodness, if I had a cold in my head...
But I haven't got a cold in my head.
You said you did.
I said no such thing.
Why, Mr. Mayor, you said distinctly that you had the entire cold in your head, which is very lucky because if it gets to your chest...
I did not say I had a cold. I was referring to building regulations, and I said I had the code in my head.
His head is so stuffy, he can't even say cold.
Well, anyway, I'll get the nose drops. It won't take but a minute.
I don't want any stuff drop. Cold nose. I mean, I haven't got a sign of a gargle. My head is perfectly empty. McGee.
Huh?
Pardon me. When I came in here, I didn't have Now you see what you've done? You You've talked me into it.
A fine thing. Gets a cold and blames us for it.
Oh, well, he's probably running a little fever and don't know what he's doing. You got to be big about these things. He's always such...
I'll bet he does want some nose drops after all. Come in.
Where is he? Where is he?
Where's who, sir?
Where's the man who took the blueprints for my new house?
Oh, you mean these blueprints, Bud? I was just looking them over to...
Are you the fellow who took it upon himself to change my house completely around?
Well, you see, Bud, I figured...
Oh, we thought...
Why, the whole plan's been changed. Nothing's the way I originally planned it. This is going to take 3 months longer and going to cost me $11,000 more. And you know what?
No.
What?
I like it. Now show me on the blueprints what you think I ought to do about this
You've noticed, I'm sure, how you develop a friendly feeling for certain things you use or wear. Maybe it's a favorite sport coat. Maybe it's a household appliance that makes your work easier. It might even be Johnson's Glow Coat, because that very useful floor polish certainly saves you work and adds great beauty to your home, too. Women like Glow Coat for three very good reasons. First, it does save them many hours of work all year long. There's no rubbing or buffing with Johnson's Glow Coat because it's self-polishing. You simply apply it to your linoleum or other floors and let it dry. Second, Glow Coat gives your linoleum a beautiful polish that's easy to maintain, and it keeps colors new-looking. And third, regular care with Glow Coat adds greatly to the life of your linoleum, new or old, because it protects the surface against dirt, wear, and moisture. For these three good reasons, Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat is the preferred floor polish everywhere.
Hey, Molly, you know what?
No, what?
That guy's building a big apartment house on the west side. Wants me to oversee the job for $5,000.
Oh, how wonderful.
Huh?
When do you start?
I turned it down.
What on earth for?
Oh, my gosh. I just haven't got the nerve to ask Alice and Doc and Carsty and Harlow and Latrivia and Billy and the King's Men to go clear over on the west side every Tuesday.
Yeah, there's that, isn't there?
Certainly. Good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Wilcox speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax Products for home and industry and inviting you all to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Well, he escapes again, Fibber McGee and Molly, from November 20th, 1945, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll find out what was going on in the McGee household 8 years later following these important messages. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we move from 1945, where Fibber McGee and Molly were on once a week on Tuesday nights, to when they were on every evening for 15 minutes. And this is November 20th, 1953, as Fibber and Molly are dealing, well, with the hall mirror.
The Fibber McGee and Molly Show. NBC and Papermate Pens present Fibber McGee and Molly transcribed. The show is written by Phil Leslie and Ralph Goodman and directed by Max Hutto. We'll join Fibber and Molly in just a moment. Most of us have been called away from home and loved ones at one time or another. And we know from the experience that there's nothing quite as important during those days of separation as mail. A good old letter from home. Any man or woman in the armed forces will tell you the only call that takes precedence over mess is mail call. And when a letter is more important to a hungry GI than food, you know it means something. The truce in Korea doesn't mean we should stop writing letters to our men and women in service, whether in U.S. camps or overseas. Mail from home is just as important now as it ever was. Yes, in some respects, it's even more important. The action, the strain, the anxieties of war can keep a soldier's mind occupied. But when the letdown comes, the time to relax, that's when morale needs a shot in the arm. Be sure, too, to mail your soldiers Christmas packages early. That way you'll be sure he'll receive it in time to make his Christmas away from home a little more cheerful. Well, November 30th, 1953 has finally arrived, and Mr. McGee of 79 Wistful Vista is wild with joy. This is the moment he's been waiting for 7 long years.
Yippee! I made it, Molly. I finally made it, kiddo. Wahoo! The day has finally come and I'm still here, alive and healthy. Yippee!
McGee, stop that dancing around before you knock something down. Me, for instance. What's all the excitement about?
What's it about? You mean to tell me you don't know what day this is?
Well, aside from Monday, November 30th, I haven't the faintest.
Kiddo, this is my day of liberation. Today I'm free.
From what?
From bad luck. Don't you remember what happened on that fatal day of November 30th, 1946? That's the day I busted the mirror. Boy, oh boy, my 7 years bad luck are over. This calls for a drink. We got any root beer? I says, we got any root beer? Molly, what are you looking at me like that for? I never drink a whole bottle.
I wasn't worried about that, dearie. I was going to ask you to do something for me, but now
Don't you worry, I'll do it. Ask me. Just ask me anything. You've been through this 7 years with me all the way, and you've been a good kid, too. Anything you want me to do, ask me to do it, and I'll do it. Ask me. Come on, don't be timid, Tootsie. What do you want me to do?
You won't like it.
I'll love it. From here on in, I'm afraid of nothing. Why? A guy that he's just been through 7 years bad luck where every minute anything could happen to the guy if he wasn't careful, which I was all the time, and come out of it with nothing worse than a few busted bones now and then and a couple of cases of pneumonia by watching himself every minute like I done. What can I lose now? What do you want me to do?
Take the hall mirror downtown and have it resilvered.
Take the hall mirror downtown?
Yep.
Oh, Molly, today? Of all days?
Now, don't be superstitious. Sensible people don't believe in that 7 years bad luck business. There's nothing to it.
Oh, they don't, isn't there? Well, I just been through it, Tootsie, and don't forget it. It was horrible. Doggone it, why does it have to be done today, Molly? Why does that mirror have to be reslivered?
Silvered?
Yeah, today. Why?
Because I'm sick and tired of looking at it. And if I don't get that thing attended to today, I'll be so upset I won't be able to cook you a meal for a month.
Where is it?
Wrapped up in brown paper on the hall table. I was going to ask you to take the coffee tray, too, and have new handles put on it, but as long as it frightens you so much just to carry a mirror, why...
Hold it. Maybe this is a reprieve, a break. Maybe it's the cops come to take me away. Maybe it's...
Come in.
Hello there, kids. Hi, daughter. Hi, Johnny.
Hello, Mr. Oldtimer.
Hey, look, old-timer, how would you like to make a buck?
Sitting down, Johnny, with my feet on a desk. I'm getting a little tired of that grocery boy job of mine. Too much walking.
Look, I got a deal for you, boy. You take this package here down to the Alice in Wonderland looking glass shop, and you've made yourself a buck, boy. $2.
What's in it?
A mirror. We want to have it resilvered.
Kids, you got the wrong man, not me. Liable to bust it. Get 7 years bad luck that way.
Yeah, but
I don't fool with mirrors, son. Since what happened to Papa.
Well, I know I shouldn't ask, but I guess I'm just impulsive. What happened to Papa?
Went out to eat one night in a swanky restaurant, daughter. Spilled the salt. Naturally, he picked up a handful of it and throwed it over your shoulder. Hit the head waiter in the eye. Head waiter throwed Papa over your shoulder into a plate glass mirror and busted it into a jillion pieces. And the next day, kids, down in Manila Harbor, they blowed up the battleship Maine.
Oh, what's the connection between that and the busted mirror?
I don't know, Johnny, but it sure makes you think, don't it? Good luck with the mirror, son. If I don't ever see you again, it's been nice. So long.
You see, Molly, even the old-timer admits that it's dangerous to carry it.
Here's your hat. Grab the mirror. Come on, dearie, let's go.
Okay. Careful, Molly. Don't walk too close to me. You might nudge me and make me drop this mirror.
Don't be such a fraidy cat. I never realized what a superstitious man you were, McGee.
I'm not superstitious. I'm just careful. A guy that's had as many hard knocks as I've had don't want to get any with a mirror in his hands because...
Well, hello there, Molly. Hiya, leadhead.
Hello, Doctor.
Don't get too close to me, fatso. I got a mirror here and I don't want to drop it.
Well, I don't know why a mirror should be so precious to you, my boy. I've seen better-looking faces than yours peeking in my window Halloween.
Well, it isn't that he's vain, Doctor. He's just afraid he'll break it and have 7 years bad luck.
Yeah, I busted a mirror 7 years ago today, Doc, and I don't want to go through all that again. Come on, Molly, let's get this thing to the mirror shop.
I guess we'd better, Doctor.
Be careful with a little fumblefoot, Molly. Watch out for the manhole, McGee.
Oh, my gosh, where, Doc? Well, what manhole?
Right in front of you. The one with the cover on it.
Oh, Doctor.
Scare you, Jumpy? So long, Molly.
Snip, snicker. Big fat clown. He almost made me drop this mirror, Molly. I ought to go...
Now, take it easy. Come on, hurry. Here's our chance to get across the street. No traffic. Hurry up, walk faster. The light will change on us.
I'm not hurrying for anybody today, Molly. I wouldn't run if the tail of my shirt was on fire. Because...
Come on, McGee. What's the matter?
My foot. I got my foot caught in the car tracks.
Oh, dear. Wiggle your foot, dearie. Wiggle your foot.
I am wiggling my foot. I'm wiggling it so hard my hat's falling off. Oh, my gosh.
Ah! Drive around us, you big Lugans. Can't you see the man stuck? Why don't you take your shoe off, McGee?
I can't. I was so afraid I'd trip over my shoelaces that I tied them in hard knots.
My.
Oh, this is murder. Is there a streetcar coming?
No, nothing but trucks, cars, moving vans, motorcycles, and little things like that. Is your foot coming loose?
I can't tell. It's going to sleep. Oh, this is
Having trouble, Mr. McGee? Hello, Mrs. McGee.
Oh, Mr. Wimple, it's nice to see you.
I got my foot caught in the car tracks, Wimp. I got a mirror here, and if I get it busted, it'll be 7 more years.
I'll take charge here, Mrs. McGee. The first thing to do is keep calm, Mr. McGee. I'll get you loose.
Yeah, well, hurry up. Do something, somebody. Is a streetcar coming?
No,
This happened to me one time, and Sweetie Face got me loose, Mrs. McGee. And this is how she did it.
Yeah?
Oh, you'd better hold the mirror. That's it, Mrs. McGee.
What you gonna do, Wimp?
Kindly remain calm, please. I'll need 3 simple props, Mrs. McGee. A 5-cent piece, a pin, and a pocket handkerchief.
Here, now let me see. Here's a nickel, and here's a pin.
Well, hurry up, will you? Get me loose.
I have a handkerchief, Mrs. McGee. Now, Mr. McGee, take this handkerchief in your left hand.
Oh, my gosh, what are you trying to do, Wimp?
Do what he says, McGee. He'll get you loose, I hope.
And hold this nickel at arm's length in your right hand.
Yeah?
Way out. Arm's length, that's it. Now, hold the kerchief over one eye, and with the other eye, see if you can read the date on that nickel.
Read the date. Let me see. It says...
Study it good, because while you're concentrating on that, I take this little pin and go... Yow!
Heavenly days! What a broad jump.
Oh, that... Hey, my gosh, you got me loose, Wimp. Oh, gee, thanks, boy. Thanks a lot.
Oh, it was nothing, really. All it needed was a quick jerk on that foot.
Yeah, I guess I must be the quickest. I gave the quickest jerk you ever saw. Well, come on, Molly. Well, thanks, Wimp. We'll see you at home.
Now, relax, dearie. Here's the shop right here.
Boy, we made it. We made it. Open the door, will you? So I can get in there and get rid of this 7-year hoodoo. Whew.
My goodness, look at the mirrors.
Yeah, boy, I'd hate to work in a joint like this. I'd be so scared.
What can I do for you?
Here's a mirror needs fixing, sis. Want to have it re-slivered.
Re-silvered?
Yeah. Now take it, will you, sis?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure glad to get that thing off my hands.
When can we get it back, miss?
Well, you wait until I have a look at it. We'll see what shape it's in.
It's rectagonal shape, sis. About this long and that wide.
I mean what condition, sir.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. You want this re-silvered? Haven't you made a mistake?
Mistake? No, I don't. Oh, McGee, this isn't the mirror. This is the coffee tray.
What?
You picked up the wrong package off the hall table.
You mean I risked my life, worried myself into... You mean I could have dropped that thing without... Oh, my gosh. Let me lean against something.
No, don't lean against that.
McGee!
Holy smith. How many did I break?
8.
8 mirrors. 7 times 8 is 65. 65 years of bad luck.
I fail to see anything funny, sir.
What's so funny, McGee?
65 years of bad luck. Why, that's impossible. I won't even live that long.
McGee, when I saw those mirrors fall and thought of you having to pay for all that damage, I just about fainted.
Yeah, me too. Lucky thing they had insurance to cover it.
Certainly is.
Yeah. As the fireman said when he looked at the little bitty iron ladder, sure a mighty narrow escape. My gosh, Molly, don't you get it? Fire escape, narrow escape.
It ain't funny, McGee.
That's what the woman in the shop said. Good night.
Good night, all.
NBC and Papermate Pens have brought you the Fibber McGee and Molly program, transcribed. With Bill Thompson as the old-timer and Wallace Wimple, Arthur Q. Bryan as Dr. Campbell, and Marion Richmond as the unlucky shopkeeper. This is John Wald inviting you to be with us again tomorrow night for another visit with Fibber McGee and Molly.
Nope. No luck at all. from November 20th, 1953. Fibber McGee and Molly here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We thank you for making us a part of your day, and we hope if you are looking to build a classic radio collection of your own, go visit my friend Ted over at radiomemories.com. Ted has a whole array of newly restored classic radio program collections that you can get and you can acquire very inexpensively for yourself on cassette or on CD or flash drive for your computer. Just talk to Ted at radiomemories.com. That's radiomemories.com. And while you're on the interwebs, come visit my webpage at classicradio.stream. There you can stream our shows. You can learn more about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can contact me there. You can find our social media links, and you can buy me a coffee. That Buy Me a Coffee money helps us acquire additional classic radio collections for us to bring to you right here on your favorite station. That's classicradio.stream. Classicradio.stream. Hey, thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Would you do me a huge favor and thank this radio station and support their advertisers? It's their kindness and courtesy that allow us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. And also please tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. That'll make this radio station even more happy. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite radio station.